Chapter 1. The world before Spain from the 10th to 11th century, Asia was bound together by the sea. A vast maritime trade route ran from southern China, through Champa, central Vietnam, the Malay Peninsula, Srivijaya in Sumatra, Java, the Moluccas, and onward to India and the Arab world. This was the Maritime Silk Road, a network of ports, not just goods, but ideas, religions, and power. Right at the center of that route Satan archipelago we know today as the Philippines. And in the northeastern part of Mindanao, Chinese court records name a polity, Butuan, now Butuan. This was no mere village, no scattered barangay. Chinese sources describe it as a guo, a country or state. It had a ruler with the title Rajah, ocean-going ships called balangay, a court, and the political organization to send envoys thousands of kilometers across open sea. Archaeology backs this up. In the 1970s, at least 9 balangay boats were excavated near the Agusan River, carbon dated to 320 AD 1250 AD. These were plank-built, edge-pegged vessels up to 15 meters long, capable of deep-sea voyages. The Butuan Ivory Seal and gold artifacts also show a society with writing, metallurgy, and wealth. Chapter 2. The First Mission, 1001 AD March 17. 1001 AD. Inside the imperial court of the Song Dynasty, foreign envoys arrived. The official dynastic history, the Song Shi, chapter 488, records their names, Li Yuihan and Jiaminan. They were envoys from Butuan. They did not come to beg. They came as representatives of their ruler, Rajah Kiling. We come from the land south of the sea. Our king offers friendship to the great empire, the record stated. They brought the products of their world, beeswax, tortoiseshell, pearls, and rare woods. In China's worldview, this was Kaogongor tribute. But in the reality of 11th century Asia, Kaogongor tribute was diplomacy. It was how you entered the international order. Submitting tribute meant your state was recognized. In return, you got trade access, prestige goods like silk and ceramics, and political legitimacy. The Song Shi notes that Butuan's envoy was received under the Office for Tributary States. Rajah Kiling was granted the title Huaihua Jiangjun, which means general who cherishes civilization, a standard title for Southeast Asian rulers who entered the system, meaning Butuan was a state. It had a leader. It could project power diplomatically. Chapter 3. The Ambition of Rajah Kiling. Rajah Kiling wasn't satisfied with basic recognition. At that time, the most established Southeast Asian tributary was Champa. Champa had decades of relations with China and received higher ceremonial status. Butuan's goal? Equal treatment. In court, Butuan's envoys petitioned for the same rank and privileges as Champa. The Song court denied it, not because Butuan was weak, but because rank in the tribute system was built on long-term, consistent relations. Champa had seniority, but Butuan didn't back down. Instead, they planned a stronger second mission. This tells us Butuan had a sophisticated understanding of geopolitics. They weren't passive traders. They were actively negotiating status. Chapter 4. The Second Arrival, 1011 AD, 10 years later. 1011 AD, another mission from Butuan arrived in China. The envoy, Li Kanxie, this time the gifts were different. Not just local products, they brought white dragon camphor from Borneo or Sumatra, cloves from the Moluccas, the Spice Islands, and controversially, a slave from the South Seas. The message was clear. Butuan wasn't just a supplier. It was a hub. It collected high-value goods from across maritime Southeast Asia and funneled them into the China trade. The Song Shi records that when the emperor saw the enslaved person, he was moved to pity and ordered them freed. This was both a moral act and political theater, the emperor displaying benevolence. More importantly, the court responded with major honors, ceremonial banners and flags, suits of armor, and official investiture for Butuan's ruler in diplomatic language. This meant Butuan was accepted as a legitimate state, a formal member of the East Asian world system. The Song Dynasty was desperate for luxury goods and also for allies against the Liao Dynasty to the north. Southeast Asian states like Butuan became crucial trading partners. In 1007, 1011, and 1014, Butuan missions are recorded. That's 3 in 13 years and showing sustained diplomacy. Chapter 5. What does this all mean? There's a myth that China's tribute system meant vassalage or inferiority. Wrong. Think of it like UN membership today. You acknowledge the framework, follow protocol, and in exchange you get trade rights, legitimacy, and access to the global economy. The products Butuan sent weren't all from Mindanao. Cloves don't grow in Agasan. Camphor isn't native there. That means Butuan had a commercial network stretching to Indonesia and beyond. How did they do it? Through the sea. The balangay weren't river rafts. Nautical archaeology shows they had lug sails, outriggers, and could handle monsoon winds. These were the same boat-building traditions that settled Polynesia. This was not primitive. This was a maritime civilization with shipbuilding, navigation, diplomacy, and international trade. At this same time, 1000 to 1200 AD, Butuan was also producing some of the finest gold work in Southeast Asia. The Butuan gold, found in museums, shows granulation and lost wax techniques equal to anywhere in the world. Gold was likely used to pay for imports, another sign of a complex economy. Chapter 6. The Butuan-Srivijaya Connection. Some scholars think Butuan may have been a vassal or ally of Srivijaya at times. Srivijaya controlled the Malacca Strait. Butuan's rise in 1000s coincides with Srivijaya's peak. Possible that Rajah Kiling was competing with Srivijaya for China's attention. By the 1200s, Chinese records stop mentioning Butuan. Champa and later Mayapahit dominate. Possible reasons: silting of Agusan River, shifts in trade routes, or political changes. The Rajanat of Butuan later becomes part of the oral history of the region. The Butuan Silver Paleograph, dated 1000s, is one of the oldest written documents in the Philippines. It's in Kawi script showing Indian influence and literacy. Before Islam and Christianity, Butuan likely practiced a mix of indigenous animism plus Hindu-Buddhist influence from Srivijaya. Gold Tara statues found in Agusan support this. Outro. Reclaiming the dignity. Before Spain ever said it discovered the Philippine archipelago, Mindanao was already known to the world. Before the Filipinos were taught that they were late to history, their ancestors stood before the Emperor of China as equals in diplomacy. The story of Butuan is not a story of defeat. It is a story of courage, organization, and the ability to stand with the world's powers. It did not begin with colonization. The Filipinos had their own age of dignity, one they need to return to, remember, and take pride in.
Sa subahan agusan misubangan adlaw, bulawan ang tuna kahayagan baybay. Ang hangin nag-awit hanbaho handagat, tunahan ginikanan, tunahan dumo. Balangayan namon dalan sa kalibutan, dagat namong dalan bituonan giya. Sa dughan namo may ngaran nga buhi, butuanan pulong nga ginpanunod. O butuan sugahan dagat, dungoghan silangan nga buhi. Kamian bayan han balangay nga mitabok sa kalibutan. O butuan tuna nga sinilangan han kalamok kayso. Sa balangay han namong dugo, nakasurat ang ngaran mo. Gikan sa baybay tubtob sa layo, anamong sakayan may dalang ngaran. Perlas, wax, ug bulawan nga damo, ginhalad sa mundo nga amon ginabtan. Sa atubangan han trono han kalibutan, Anamong tingog malinaw ug buhi. Kami anak handagat ug adlaw, butuan anamong ginpahayag. O butuan, sugahan dagat, dungogan silangan nga buhi. Kami an bayan, han balangay nga mitabok sa kalibutan. O butuan, tunang nga sinilangan, han kaalamog kaiso. Sa balangay anamong dugo, nakasurat ang ngaran mo. Bisan maglabay ang daghan nga panahon, ang balod magbalik sa baybay. Sa tagsa hampasan dagat, ang ngaran mo ginaawit. O butuan, inahan paglayag, ikaw ano ng suga sa silangan. Sa tagsa kasing-kasinghan Mindanao, ikaw ang sinugdanan han kusog. O butuan, diri ka huna-huna, ikaw ang dugo ug handumanan. Samtang may dagat sa atubangan, butuan magapadayon ka. Sa subahan nagusan malunod ang adlaw, pero ang ngaran mo magapadayon sa balod. Sa